Hi, and welcome back to the YouTube page for Northcomm Technologies. Today we're featuring a new product, and that product is the interface cable for the MTR 2000 repeater. In the case today, the interface controller is an SCOM 7330 provided by SCOM LLC, and we make this cable that we're featuring in today's video for any controller on the market or to any specification that you might have. If you've watched our other videos, you know, for quite some time we've been making the highest quality interface cables on the market for the Motorola Quantar repeater. These cables have allowed our customers to integrate systems in both analog and P25 seamlessly into third-party controllers for greater access and control of their systems and stations. These cables are appropriate for both amateur and commercial products, and they're made to the highest possible standards for years and years of trouble-free service. If you have any problems with your system, it certainly won't be with our cables. Today's cable is very different than the Quantar cable. The MTR 2000 repeater, as well as the MTR 3000 Moto Turbo repeater, have a systems interconnect connection, also known as systems connection J5. That's a bit of an unusual point to connect to because it's a 96-pin Eurocard style connector. Many people have done interfaces at this point. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anyone really do them in a way that's commercially saleable or easily serviceable. What most people end up doing is they buy a generic part with 96 permanently installed pins that's designed to go into the edge of a PCB. Really, it's not the way to go. You run into a lot of issues where you could possibly short things out and do catastrophic damage to your device, and clearly that's not the idea here. Motorola Solutions makes a systems connector kit. It's approximately $50, and we have a couple of them here for various projects. Not a fan of this kit, however, and the reason being is though the connector is a pinned device, meaning that you can insert and remove wires as you feel necessary, the connector doesn't come with additional pins, so you can't add your own cable. And it comes with 30 wires that are solid conductor 22 gauge wires. All of them are black, so from a serviceability standpoint you can't tell the difference between maybe an input or an output, COR, PTT, CTCSS, DCS, or anything else. So that really doesn't make for ease of installation. Now, of course, when we build our cables and we build a system, should you desire, the thing that we're always thinking about is the next technician who's going to have to work on it. So, of course, we provide color-coded cables that are consistently the same no matter what kit you order, and they're easily identifiable and field repairable should you need to replace anything. So, in the vein of building the best possible kit, we have sourced a very nice connector for the J5 systems connector. And that's this connector right here. It's the 96-pin Eurocard style kit. But unlike the ones that most people use, this is a pinned connector so that all of our wires are pinned with U-barrel crimps and they're inserted into the proper row and the proper column. There is no exposed metal here anywhere. So should anybody drop a tool or a screwdriver here onto this connector, it's going to be fully protected. And of course this fits this station perfectly. So these two tabs here and here will be locked into the back of the backplane with the provided metal bracket. And that makes a connection totally secure. As with all our cables, we provide the connector. Everything is covered in a heat and a highly abrasion resistant black braided sleeving. We incorporate the same RFI beads that are found in our Quantar cables. Again, these beads are recommended for the MTR and MTR 3000 stations, especially when we're moving audio around, such as we are here. The cable is 60 inches in length. That's the longest length we will generally make. The cable breaks out to the end to two smaller wires. And in the case of the SCOM 7330, we have our 2-terminal Phoenix connector with our custom molded shielding on the outside to provide for very, very, very strong resistance against pulling and tugging. This is not going to come apart. And the audio and signaling connection is the highest quality Amphenol DB9 metal housed connector. Now, for those of you who have never worked with the MTR 2000 before, or who have never had to interface, the interface here is a little bit more complicated than the Quantar station. The reason for this is because pin A17 is the audio input pin for the MTR 2000, and this pin must be protected from any sort of a DC bias voltage. Now, high quality controllers such as the SCOM and other controllers that are very popular such as the CAT and LinkCom generally always include a DC blocking cap in the transmit and receive audio lines. In our research and development testing of the MTR 2000, we unfortunately found that the DC blocking circuitry within all of the controllers that we have in the shop are not sufficient to decouple A17, the transmit audio line, from DC, and it causes significant problems with the operability of the station. Essentially, it won't work, and should you try to make a cable without the specified DC blocking cap, you'll destroy the audio circuitry in the MTR. Now, Motorola recommends, for alignment and testing purposes, a 100 microfarad capacitor between the audio source and A17 on J5. If you're using a polarized capacitor such as we are, you're going to have to make sure the polarity is set correctly. Now, because we overbuild everything here and we plan for every eventuality, we have an electrolytic Nishikon capacitor, super low ESR inside the housing of the DB9. That capacitor is rated for up to 25 volts. The bias voltage on here at its highest point is approximately 2.5 volts DC, so we are well beyond anything we would ever experience coming from or to the station. And this is a 100 microfarad cap, and of course the measurement there is important for the audio characteristics of the machine. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn the station around, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to install our cable and how fast this can be done. So there's no power to the station. Before you start any work, disconnect power from the station and disconnect power from the controller if it's also separately powered up. We don't want to be working with live equipment here because you can blow something up. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. Let me grab the cable here. Now, depending on how or when you got your MTR 2000 or 3000 station, you should have been provided with this metal bracket right here. This bracket is critical. It holds the systems connector in place against vibration, pulling, and tugging. Now, with our cables, because we're only using 10 or 15 pins, we don't have the same plug and pull resistance that you would have from all 96 pins being occupied. Therefore, it's very easy to plug this in. It is also very easy to unplug it. If you do not have this metal bracket, let us know before you buy the cable. We will get it for you and we will provide that to you. It is critical. Now, the first thing you want to do, again with your station powered off, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to install the systems connector. This station came with a factory duplexer. Just for the purposes of this film, it's been removed because we wouldn't be able to show you this. But of course, this is the receiver input from the duplexer. This is the receiver, or excuse me, to the preselector. This is the receiver input to the preselector, and this is to the receiver. Excuse me, I misspoke. And this is your antenna port. This is your transmit port right here, and of course, it's a battery backup station. So these are gendered connectors. The 3 red wires and the 3 black wires on the right-hand side are for our power. These go to the right-hand side of the station. It's marked back here. It's the side that says C32, or the side where the power terminal is. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to plug that in. You can't plug it in the wrong way, so don't worry about that. It won't go in. The screw on the back is a Torx size T20 20, so have one of those drivers handy before you start this. just going to go ahead. We're going to get our bracket in there. The bracket goes on only one way. Just have to move some of the cabling around. And I'll just get my screw. Again, it's a Torx T20. We're going to fasten that in there. And just finger tight. We're not using a ratchet or a wrench on this. Finger tight is sufficient. Now, were we to be installing this in a rack, of course, we would secure this cabling in here, leaving slack so as not to have any tension on the systems connector. And then obviously we would replace our pre-selector. Now the next connections are to the controller. And we're halfway done. The first connection I always make is to the port. In this case it's port 1. And the next and final connection to the controller is going to be obviously to power. Just to let you know, the MTR 2000 is a logic high output station. That's how it comes programmed in the RSS. Now, for those of you who are used to programming other repeaters such as the Quantar, you're used to signals that are logic low, and you can leave the jumpers inside the SCOM 7330 exactly where they are. You're going to have to open up your 7330 if you don't send it to us first. And you're going to have to move the jumpers from COR and CTCSS off of the port area, and you're going to have to move them over to the invert row of headers so that the station properly recognizes CTCSS high and COR high. Of course, if you don't do this, what's going to happen is the station is going to key up and the polarities are going to be all wrong and it's not going to work properly. So just a note. Now, our station is fully interfaced. The programming here has already been done. You must program the RSS in order for this cable or any interface to work properly. There are some complexities here. It's not quite as intuitive as the Quantar. Therefore, as with we do all our cables, we'll provide full color screenshots that tell you exactly how to set up your RSS quickly and seamlessly so that you get the station on the air right away. Should you have any difficulties programming, of course, we provide unlimited phone support for any customer that purchases a cable from us. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the station around. And the first thing I'm going to do before the demonstration begins is we're going to connect the dummy load. I've turned the power on this station down to approximately 40 watts. I don't want to stress the controller, or I'm sorry, the service monitor's dummy load, so we're not going to put out full power. This is a 110 watt UHF repeater. 100 watt UHF repeater. And the customer is going to have this operating at full 100 watts, so once that's this test is over, we're going to power this thing down and we're going to reprogram it. Now you can hear the fan test. The repeater is going through its restart mode. As you see, power to the controller comes on right away, and the repeater is going through its reset mode. So I have here a portable radio. This happens to be an XTS 5000. It's what we use in all our videos, you've probably noticed. But I've programmed this for this customer's transmit and receive frequencies. Let's go ahead and key up and see what happens. Well, alright. Probably see a couple things. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can see our audio waveform here on the spectrum, or on the modulation scope. Let's see what the audio sounds like. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2, 3. Sounds great. And on the SCOM, we have push to talk, we have COR, and we have, most importantly, PL detect. It's CTCSS in the case of this customer, but of course if you wanted a DCS code, we're simply sending a logic to the controller, so you're just going to program your MTR for DCS. And it's that easy. Let me D-key. And those little beeps that you heard were a combination of the radio and the controller's courtesy tones. the customer has opted to program this 7330 on his own, so he will set this up with whatever courtesy tones he likes. But as you can see, PTT comes on, COR comes on right after, and within fractions of a second later, CTCSS comes on, and that's going to actually activate the repeater. And it's a very easy interface to do once you have our product, and it allows you to get your SCOM and your MTR on the air within minutes, not days. Now, obviously, having a controller, we can send all the DTMF codes that we would need to have remote system control. We here in Northcomm use SCOM controllers because we like the way they program. The audio circuitry in them is outstanding, and the construction is generally phenomenal. The MTR 2000 is a station that a lot of people have asked us to interface, so we finally decided to make a cable for that, and the cable is every bit as outstanding as the Quantar cable. This is our customer's MTR 2000. We do not have one here in the shop, but we're generally very impressed with this machine. For those in the amateur community, this is a top quality piece of equipment, and for those on the commercial end, it really is outstanding and priced quite a bit lower than the Quantar and its replacement station. Now, this cable is currently under production for the MTR 3000 Moto Turbo Repeater. It's going to look very much the same. We have an MTR 3000 coming to the shop within a few days for research and development and testing purposes, and as soon as that product becomes available, we will get that out to you. The price point on this cable that you saw in the video is $139 plus $12 flat rate shipping. With all our products, once you purchase a cable from us, you get unlimited lifetime support on that product, programming support, and technical assistance should you run into any problems with your controller or your cable. Should you be unhappy for any reason, we will accept return of your cable, no questions asked, full money back. We've sold several hundred of these at this point, and we haven't had one complaint, so I think you're going to be very happy. Just to clarify, you can buy a cable from us for the SCOM 7330 to MTR 2000, or if you have a CAT, a Linkcom, an ACC, or some other brand controller, we will happily build you a cable as well. And of course, all of the MTR series cables do provide that high-quality electrolytic blocking capacitor on the transmit side to provide full DC protection of your audio circuitry. Again, and that's critical. Let me go to the smaller screen here. I don't know if you can see this, but we have a deviation meter here on the R2670B that we're using in the video, and we'll just give it a quick test. Test 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know if you can see that, but at the peaks of our voice we're up to as high as 4.5 kilohertz of deviation, which means that this SCOM 7330 and the MTR have been very nicely interfaced together. Just as a side note, if you've watched our videos before, you'll notice some new equipment here. We've purchased a brand new General Dynamics R2670B communication service monitor, and I have to tell you, for those who are in the market for some new equipment, we're really, really impressed by this machine. Our prior videos, we have always used an IFR Aeroflex 1600S, and we wanted to really move our shop into the digital age, so we purchased this machine that has full P25 test capabilities and also does every kind of encryption that you might want to use, including AES 256, DES, DVP, and for those European customers, DVI. We bought every option with this machine, and I have to tell you, the graphic user interface on this is much more intuitive than I've been used to. It's about the size of an IFR 1200S, and it can just do so much more. This is approximately a $20,000 plus machine, but I have to tell you, it's worth every penny, and we're very impressed with what General Dynamics has done here. So that's what we use today, and we are able to do full P25-bit error rate testing on all those Quantars and Quantros that come in here and are part of digital systems. Our next purchase will probably be a General Dynamics R8000, because we are, of course, going to be getting very involved in the Moto Turbo and DMR world, which a lot of people have been using with great success. If you have any questions about this cable, or if you'd like to place an order, we have a web page. It's repeatercables.com. That's repeater cables, one word and common spelling, repeatercables.com. You will see photos of all the equipment featured in this video, including the MTR 2000 and the SCOM 7330. Of course, you'll see product photos of our new cable here. And there is an instruction page that explains to you everything that you've seen here. Our phone number is on the web page, and if you'd like to email me, it's Mark, M-A-R-K, at repeatercables.com. So please feel free to email me or call me 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Happy to answer your questions and build you whatever you'd like. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon.